What a ridiculous world, because right now, I don't know what computer you're on, what telephone line you're on, what modem you're using, anything, right? We just click the button and it works.
Absolutely.
And if I want to send you something of value, let's say it's a bond certificate, and it's on the XRP ledger, and you can't accept it into your wallet because that world just doesn't compute, right? That does not work.
Yeah.
So we need to change that. Really interesting is I spoke to the chief fintech officer for the Monetary Authority of Singapore, and he's like, "Oh, I spent all my time meeting with India, Europe, Switzerland, blah 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 blah." And he goes, "There's two countries we don't speak to. One's China, and the other one's the US. The US said they just won't even talk to us about. We're trying to create all of this, with the BIS and the IMF and everybody trying to create an ability to have stablecoins because it's such an efficient way, or CBDCs, and then wholesale payments versions as well to run the financial rails on. And the US won't engage with them. That's what I heard. Now that may have changed,
Sure.
but that was maybe 6 months ago or so. But they are coming, and they're coming fast. And I think it will be a two-tiered system. I think there's, the Brits will have their pound stablecoin, the Europeans will have their euro, the Singapore will have their Singapore dollar. Then the US dollar itself, which is the main payment system for the world, I don't think the UK or somebody will be allowed to do that because it's not their currency. And that's where stablecoins come in. So stablecoins are basically a tokenized version or a fractionalized version of the Eurodollar market, which is a confusing name. But the Eurodollar market is back in the 70s, the US had come away from the gold standard, and they wanted to protect themselves because they're like, we don't really know. We've got the world's reserve currency, but these are all new free-floating currencies. So they basically had capital controls on money going out of the system, and they also had lending controls. So they said, listen, until we kind of figure out this new world, we don't want you lending out to all these foreign entities who now want dollars, because before it's pegged to the gold. Anyway, so the Brits developed a market called the Eurodollar market, which is an offshore market for dollars, fed by these international banks that can get hold of dollars and then lend them to others. But if you're in the Philippines and you're working in a rice field and you want to send some money to a friend, or you want to hold some dollars, you can't get them easily. You have to go to your bank, and they charge you this huge amount of money if they'll give it to you at all. And the Philippines is not, not a collapsing currency regime like Argentina, where it becomes even more prescient. So people want access to dollars, and stable coins have just kind of democratized access to the dollar to anybody, anywhere. So all of this is the digital rails of money moving around. The Eurodollar market essentially is like the stablecoin market, which is obviously a wholesale version of this. CBDCs just basically get rid of notes and coins and allow a lot of different use cases, and they should all interact with each other.
Bitcoin's rally above $31,000 is driven by several key factors. October's positive trends. Historically, October, known as Uptober, has shown positive returns for the crypto market. This month's volumes have surged, setting new daily records. Bitcoin dominance. Bitcoin is regaining dominance in the market, surpassing 50%. This typically sparks interest in other cryptocurrencies. Liquidations and short squeezes. Short position liquidations, particularly in Bitcoin, have exceeded $64 million, possibly leading to a short squeeze and price increases. Despite this positive momentum, potential risk events still loom for Bitcoin and altcoins. Larry Fink, CEO, BlackRock, is increasingly bullish on Bitcoin. His comments suggest that he sees Bitcoin as a valuable asset for the future, equating its value to human freedom. This sentiment coincides with discussions about approving the Bitcoin ETF by the SEC, further boosting Bitcoin's price. Robert Kiyosaki, author of Rich Dad, Poor Dad, forecasts that Bitcoin could reach $135,000 in the coming years. This prediction implies significant growth for Bitcoin and other altcoins, with Bitcoin's market cap potentially exceeding $2.7 trillion. Bitcoin's surge also has ties to expectations of Bitcoin ETF approval, diminishing supply and accumulation by influential investors. This optimism is driving not only Bitcoin but also altcoins like Ethereum, Chainlink, Solana, XRP, and Hedera Hashgraph. These altcoins are gaining traction due to growing tokenization trends and positive market sentiment. Let's continue our discussion with Raoul.
So Franklin Templeton have a tokenized money market fund. Somebody else has a tokenized money market fund. The European Investment Bank did a tokenized bond issuance. They're all experimenting. They're all doing it.
And they're on ETH,
quite a few,
right?
That one was on ETH, yeah. But they're doing it on lots of different chains.
Right.
So we're seeing a lot of experimentation going on, which is great. Democratize access to dollars to everybody, and it's the world's reserve currency, then almost everybody can choose dollars and would choose dollars. What does it do for other currencies? What does it do? These things are interesting questions. It's the same question that I got posed when back in 2012, once I saw the banking system and how broken it was and that nobody owned anything. I went around the world with a few family offices and some friends to try and set up the world's safest bank. And the idea is we were just going to, so you would give me money and we would buy treasuries directly held at the Federal Reserve. No intermediaries, no fractional reserve lending, blah, blah, blah. So we're in the business of setting this up. We'd had some really well-known people joining the consortium who we were about to buy a bank. And we were in front of the Dallas Fed, who were friendly. And they were like, this is a great idea. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. They're like, but we're not going to let you do it. And I said, why? I said, well, you're going to take all the deposits from the banking system. Because if one source of deposits is risk-free because it's held at the Treasury and it's giving the same interest as all the others, why would anybody go to a different place for deposits? Just, I'm not going to do it. Which is the issue that happens, if you're not careful with stablecoins. And this is why the US is scared around this stuff, right? What does it mean if everything is dollars? What does it do to the US economy? There's a lot of issues there. Meanwhile, the Chinese, even the Europeans, are saying there's too much reliance on the dollar because the US can bully us for anything because it owns the payment rails. So they're like, we can get rid of SWIFT by doing CBDCs. So we should do that for a start. Because they shouldn't, because the pound is quoted against the dollar and against the euro, but it's on US payment rails. So even if they're trading with the Europeans, it's using SWIFT payment. The Europeans set up IBAN. There's a slight difference. But we can't have our sovereignty threatened by one person.
In big crypto and finance news this week, the SEC has dropped this lawsuit against top Ripple execs. Bridgewater founder Ray Dalio speculates on war in the context of strife in the Middle East and a look at the meme coin market's performance in 2023. This and more just below in the latest Bitcoin.com News Week in Review. The new governor of China's central bank has promised to stop speculation associated with cryptocurrency transactions in the country. Pan Gongxing made the vow in a report detailing measures to maintain the stability of the Chinese financial market and prevent risks. If you've enjoyed the video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more daily updates. Remember, knowledge is power, and we're here to empower you on your financial journey. Until next time, happy investing.